तिवाचालं पङ्गुं लाङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं। नमयों विष्णुपादाय श्रीगौरप्रियमूर्तये श्रीमते भक्तिवल्लभतीर्थगोस्वामिनामिने कृपया क्षमतामपराधिजनं कलुषायुतशक्तसुदीननरं सुपथे परिचालय सर्वदिनं प्रणमामि च माधवदेवपदम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 11th chapter. Jada Bharat is replying to the questions of Rahugana. Rahugana could not understand the inner significance of what Jada Bharat spoke. Therefore, he asked him that I am not able to understand. Please explain elaborately. So, yesterday we heard Jada Bharat is telling to in various sinful and pious activities. The three modes of material nature are constantly acting on the mind, and the mind is getting influenced by them. Sometimes they perform pious activities, sometimes they perform sinful activities. In this manner, the living entities are thus being deprived from the true knowledge because of the mind being influenced by the three modes. Further, he says that as long as the mind of the person is engaged in this manner, he cannot come out of his mundane designations. Sometimes he will consider that I am a man, sometimes he will consider that I am an animal, sometimes he will consider that I am a tree, sometimes as a demigod. In this manner, designation of the living entity changes because of the mind's identification with the body or with the designations of the particular body, like king or a servant, master or slave. Because of that mind designated with these things, he will think that, oh, I am this, I am that, in this manner. Mind is the master of all the sense organs. Therefore, it is due to the mind that one thinks that I am this or I am that. माया रचित मन देही जीव के आलिंगन करिया संसार चक्रे निष्पेषित करे. Mind, which is material by nature, there are 8 material elements: भूमिर आपो अनलो वायु खम मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहंकारमिति यमे भिन्ना प्रकृतिरष्टदा. The Lord is telling in the Bhagavad Gita, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are the 8 principles that are from my separated energy. Means that is my external energy. Internal energy cannot be called as separated energy. It is the external energy. External energy means Maya. So, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego. These are the 8 principles that are of material nature. This mind, which is material by nature, embraces the living entity. Embraces the living entity means the living entity is losing its identity because of the coverage of this mind, which is material by nature. And thus, he is sometimes getting happiness, sometimes getting pleasure. You see, mind is, you can say, the object that basically processes any activity. Like when we are touching a hot body, okay, when the skin touches it, it is the mind that is at comfort or discomfort. Oh, this is hot or this is cold. The sense organs, they are just, what you can say, they are the sensors only. But these sensors are controlled by the mind. If we go little in detail, there are 2 kinds of senses. One is the motor senses, and other is the knowledge senses. In the doctor terms also, they say that there are some elements or some senses, they are knowledge senses, and there are others, there are motor senses. Motor senses means they make the activity, and mind is the controller. The brain, they say the brain, not mind, they say brain. Brain is controlling the motor senses as well as the knowledge senses. Motor senses means we are performing an action. This is like, this is something is triggering it. The mind is making this hand move. These are the motor senses that make us perform an action. So, mind is the master of all these sense organs. So, here he is telling that the happiness, distress, lamentation, or illusion, all these things are made to be enjoyed or suffered by the living entities because of the mind in the conditioned state, or the mind thinking, identifying, or embracing Atma. Embracing Atma means the self is losing its identity and thinking that I am mind. Swarupa Brahm. I am thinking that I am the mind because the mind is embracing the living entity. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in the commentary, फलौ ताहार अनुरूपई सृष्ट करे इहा बोलते चेन दुखम इत्यादि दुख सुख एवं व्यतिरिक्त बोलते मोह तीव्रम दुर्निर्वार फल सृष्टि कोरिया थाके. Now, when we are performing any action, one will have to enjoy or suffer the We are performing an action with the mind. With the mind means mind is material. When we are performing any activity under the dictation of the mind, we will also get subjected to the enjoyments or sufferings as per the actions. So, the mind is the thing that is making us perform an action, and it is also due to the mind that we are getting happiness and distress. This is the what do you call the interface. The mind is the interface through which things are executed. You understand interface? দেখুন জড় মন কি করিয়া সৃষ্টি করে? How can mind, which is material by nature, how can it bring happiness or distress? Because to create something means matter cannot create anything. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is putting a very logical question here. Mind is causing us to enjoy or suffer. Now, how can matter be the cause? Creation is possible. Something gets created only when through spirit, when there is a living force. Mind, you are telling, is matter. How can matter create happiness and distress? তাতে বলিতেছেন স্বদেহিনং জীবাত্মাকে আলিঙ্গন করিয়া. How? The mind is actually embracing the jivatma, the living entity. Means you can say the mind is bringing the living entity under his control. Mind being material cannot be the cause of or cannot be the creator of happiness or distress. Because to create something, there needs to be a living force. You are following? You are able to follow? To some extent. You are able to follow? You? Yes? 50. Okay. If something needs to be created, something needs to be brought into existence, can matter has the capacity to do it by itself? Can this object give me happiness or distress by itself? This is a matter. Can it by itself give any happiness or distress to me? Matter has no capacity by itself. But it is due to the influence of the mind. The mind is telling, oh, this can give you happiness. Why? Because the mind is influencing the Atma, Jivatma. Or you can say, we are identifying ourselves with the mind. And therefore, the mind is able to, create happiness and distress to us. As long as we identify ourselves with the mind or the body, there will be troubles. The pure devotees, they are always free from troubles because they are situated in the platform of Atma. I am not the mind, I am not the body. I am a pure spirit soul servant of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Then there cannot be any happiness or distress or lamentation or fear or delusion or infatuation. All these things are not possible when one is situated on the platform of Atma. Why? Atma is eternal, Atma is knowledgeable, Atma is blissful. How can a blissful principle, Atma by nature is blissful. The nature of Atma is to be in bliss. Now, how can a blissful nature, blissful entity come into unhappiness? Now, the nature of the fire is to burn. Can the nature fire be used to cool the body? Nature of the fire is to burn. Have you seen that the fire is used to cool the body? No, it is against the nature. It is against the nature of the fire. In a similar manner, it is against the nature of a soul to be unhappy. Just try to understand the analogy. It is against the nature of a living entity or Atma or a soul to be unhappy. Living entity is always blissful. That is the nature of Atma. Living entity is eternal. There cannot be any fear that I will die. Fear is not the principle of Atma. Fearlessness is the principle of Atma. And fear comes from ignorance. But Atma is not ignorant. Atma is knowledgeable. Sat Chit Ananda. Then why is it happening? Because the mind is enveloping the Atma. Or mind is influencing the Atma. Just like when one is hypnotized, then he acts in a way that he was not used to acting previously. Isn't it? You know hypnotized state? You don't know hypnotized state? You are nodding the head. You understand? Yes. Hypnotize means to mesmerize with, what do you call hypnotize? Any synonym for that?
They bring you under their control. Whatever they tell you, you believe.
Yes. To bring under the control by
Arguments, persuasion.
no, not necessarily arguments. It's a kind of a trick. There are hypnotists. They hypnotize you and they bring you under their control. And whatever they dictate, whatever they say, you just will act that way.
Even they tell you you're a chicken now, then you'll act like a chicken.
Yes. Huh? Vashikara.
Hypnotized.
Vashikara. Huh?
I remember that.
You remember? So, the mind is hypnotizing the Atma, the covering. And I'm thinking that, oh, I am the mind. So, आलिंगनेर कारण बोलते चेन माया रचितांतरात्मा मायार द्वारा रचित अंतरात्मा बोलते जीवेर उपाधि अर्थात देहादि. And now I am thinking that I am the body because mind is influencing me. Just like somebody hypnotizes and thinks that you are a man, hypnotizes a female and he says now you are a man. She thinks that I am a man. Now a man is hypnotizing you are a female, you are a donkey, you are a dog. He is behaving like a donkey or a dog because now the person is in a hypnotized state, in an artificial state, in trance, in kind of a trance, not that spiritual trance, material trance. Somebody mistake spiritual trance. So, in such a state, one behaves in an artificial position. So now Atma, even though is spiritual, because of the influence of the mind or because of the covering of the mind, because the mind hypnotized the Atma, in such a state now is thinking that yes, I am the body, I have this beautiful wife, I have this such a nice children, this house belongs to me. So mind is letting all this, artificially hypnotize the Atma, and Atma is now identifying with all these things. Upadhita bolite chen chalana sansrishti chakrakutah sankutaka bolite gramer pratarak vyakti. So here Jadabharat uses a word sansrishti chakrakutah. He says like a deceiver, like a traitor. The mind is like a traitor. Traitor means cheater, deceiver. Because mind is also a part, it looks like it belongs to our family. Oh, he's such a nice person. Senses are there, mind is there, the material elements are there. He belongs to our family. But belonging to the same family, he is deceiving us. He is a traitor. That's why Jadabharat is telling that this is a cheater, this is a deceiver. It thinks that he is our nice friend. Mind is our best friend. But actually, he is a deceiver. Like it says, Grama Kutaka, Gramer Prataraka Vyakti. He is living in a village. One person is living in a village. It appears that he is doing everything for the welfare of the village, but he is actually finishing the backbone of the village. He's cheating in a very subtle way or in a what you call covered way. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is telling that this mind is like that. He's very nicely deceiving us. You see, you go there, you will get this happiness. Oh, very nice. Mind is telling such a nice thing, but actually is indirectly deceiving us. अर्थात संसार चक्रे प्रपंचनाकारी এই মনেই মায়া দ্বারা জীবের উপাধি দেহাদি রচনা করিয়া সেই উপাধির संपर्कयुक्त देही अर्थात जीव के आलिंगन पूर्वक काल प्राप्त दुख सुख मोहरूप दुर्निर्वार फल सृष्टि करिया थाके. You see, mind is an enemy living along with us. We are thinking that the mind is our friend, but that enemy is living along with us. What the mind is doing is nicely embracing the Atma, or you can say hypnotizing the Atma, covering the Atma, and he's telling that I'll take you to a very nice place. I'll give you happiness. I'll give you pleasure. In this manner, he is drowning, this mind is drowning the living entity in the cycle of repeated, ocean of the cycle of repeated death. This is how the mind is deceiving the living entity. Thus, the mind is the cause of our fall down in this world. The mind is the cause of our suffering in this material world, and the mind is also the cause of sometimes going to heavenly planets, sometimes going to hellish planets, etc. तावानयं व्यवहारः सदाविह क्षेत्रज्ञ साक्ष्यो भवति स्थूल सूक्ष्माः तस्मान्मनो लिंगमदो वदन्ति गुणागुणत्वस्य अवरस्य. जावत मन जीव के संसारे भ्रमण कराय तावत ए जीव भोग्य व्यवहार समूह स्थूल ओ सूक्ष्म भावे अर्थात आमी मनुष्य आमी देवता प्रवृत्ति बहुविध स्थूल ओ सूक्ष्म देहे आत्माभिमान रूपे सर्वदा प्रकाश पाइया थाके. As long as one is riding in the chariot of the mind, as long as one is riding in the chariot of the mind, this mind is taking us from one place to the other place to the other place, another place. In this manner, the mind is taking us from one body to the other, from one place to the other, and making us identify that I am this and I am this. Means from one body to other we are transmigrating because of the mind being situated in the chariot of the mind. Wherever the mind is carrying us, we are going there, and thus identifying ourselves as humans, birds, beasts, demigods, etc. Because the mind is giving these designations to us. तज्जन्य पंडितगण उत्कृष्ट और निकृष्ट जोनिते जन्मलाभ तथा बंध ओ मोक्ष प्राप्तिर हेतु पे एकमात्र मन के ही निर्देश करिया थाकेन. Therefore, those who are wise, they identify though someone is superior or someone as inferior, someone is in bondage, someone is liberated, all due to the mind only. One of the questions that Rahugana inquired is that the dealings in this material world as a king and a slave, or king and a citizen, or a master and slave, as long as one is king, he should execute these duties. Where is the why are you saying that it is what do you call useless endeavor, just like grinding fine dust? It is not a useless endeavor. The king has to perform his duty as long as he is a king. But Jadabharat is coming from a different angle. He is telling that one considers himself as a king or a slave it only due to the mind. The mind is making one identify with that particular body. Therefore, the superiority or the inferiority, liberation or bondage, all these things are seen as the cause of the mind by the learned scholars. Learned scholars see that this is only due to the mind. Someone is telling that I am the king, it is because his mind is identifying himself with that body. So, mind is principally the cause of all these things. Similarly, mind is also the cause of bondage as well as liberation also. Therefore, learned scholars, the pure devotees, they always want to tame the mind in Krishna Bhakti, either with what you call uh, by Sama Dama Beda Danda, by any of the process, by somehow trying to please the mind or by chastising the mind. In whatever way possible, they tame the mind. If we see, if we see the Vaishnava bhajans, everything, most of them are addressed to the mind. Dushtaman, Tumi Kisera Vaishnav, you foolish mind, why do you think yourself as a Vaishnava? What kind of Vaishnava are you? Are Bhajahore Mana, Sri Nandanandan, my dear mind, chant the Lord's name, because mind is the thing that will not let us do or that will allow us to do. When the mind is convinced that, oh, bhajan is supreme, then we will immediately go to perform bhajan. When the mind is convinced that material opulence is important for us, then the mind will let us do that. So, mind is the cause of our actual involvement in bhajan or in material things. So, both liberation as well as the bondage are possible by that. Ar अरे मन आर नहीं बाल लागे संसार. So many bhajans are there. Bhaja Hare Mana Sri Nandanandan. So many, bhajans are written addressing the mind. Mana ati manda. So whatever way, bhajare amar, mana ati manda. My dear mind, you are so foolish. Do bhajan, become intelligent. Yes. All these bhajans are written to tame the mind. Sometimes in a very nice way. Bhajaman dharivo tomar charan, something like that. What is that? Dharinu charan tomar, something. I'm not getting the right line there. The devotee is praying, my dear mind. You remember that? He is telling that, my dear mind, I will pray to your feet. Please perform bhajan. Somehow or other, by praying to the feet of the mind, means by praying to the mind, or by chastising the mind, calling mind, you fool, tumi ati manda, you are a great fool. Or by chastisement, Raghunath Das Thakur has told that every day I shall beat the Manas Shiksha. You read Manas Shiksha? Raghunath Das Thakur is telling that I shall beat my mind with the broomstick every day. So by some way or other, tame the mind to Krishna Bhakti. So here it is told that mind is the cause of bondage as well as liberation also. এই রূপে এই মনোনিবন্ধন সংসারে ব্যবহার শব্দের দ্বারা বলা হয়, ইহা বলিতেছেন তাবান ইত্যাদি. So whatever material dealings we are seeing in this material world is due to the influence of mind only. I am a brother, I am a father, I am a mother, I am a wife, I am a husband, I am a king, I am a slave. All these dealings are due to the mind's conditioning only. Avihi bolite prakashaman. Now one may understand that no, we have family. How can we not think that I am a mother or I am a father, I am a wife or I am a child? It's natural, one will have that. The thing is, we have to see that all these relations are temporarily given to us. They are not false, but they are not eternal also. We have to understand this is what we need to understand. Jivana samapti ka, what is that? दुर्लभ मानव जन्म लभिय संसारे कृष्ण न भजिनु दुख कहिबो कहारे संसार संसार करी मीछ केल काल लाभ न होइल किछु घटिल जंजाल किसेर संसार एई छायाबाजी प्राय इहाते ममता करी वृथा जन्म जाए. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling that I am telling, oh, this is mine, sansar, sansar kari, miche gelo kal. My time is uselessly gone. Labh na hoilo kichu, ghatilo janjal. I have not gained anything, but on the contrary, I only brought more and more troubles to me. Kisera sansara ei chayabaji prai. What kind of material world is this? Chayabaji prai. Chayabaji means like, in the previous days, there used to be, what is, I don't know what is the word that is used. They turn this thing and you see some, what is it called? The magic lantern. Magic lantern. So you see not telescope, but there is some particular structure or a pattern inside. You turn it, and then another scenery comes. Then you yes, pieces of glass, patterns, colors. Yes. Now it is not now. Mobile. Mobile is a magic lantern now. You understood what is it?
Yeah, we had that as kids.
What is? Yes, when we were kids, it was there. Maybe you have not seen it. It's called. Yes, yes. Turn and you see some scene, and then you turn, you get another scene. So this is Kishera Sansara. A Chayabaji Prai. This sansar is like that. One element is going, another element is coming. One scene is going, another scene is coming. Sometimes I am a son, sometimes I am a father, sometimes I am a teacher, sometimes I am a student, sometimes I am this. Chayabaji Prai. Changing one after other. Ihate mamata kori vritha janma jai. Thinking that this is mine. Oh, I am this. Vritha janma jai. Time is finished. So, our relations, I'm not saying that they are false. As long as we have a family, we should have some identification that I am a husband or I am a wife, I am a mother, I am a father. But the thing is that we have to understand that I have been temporarily been given this duty. I am not all in all, but I have been temporarily made a servant of this particular house. That's all. But in my actual identity, I am servant of the Supreme Lord. आविहि बोलिते प्रकाशमान सदा क्षेत्रज्ञेर साक्ष्य अर्थात दृश्य है. स्थूल बोलिते जागृत एवं सूक्ष्म अर्थात स्वप्न. अर्थात जतकाल पर्यंत मनेर सहित जीवेर संबंध थाके ततकाले सर्वदा जागृत और स्वप्न रूप व्यवहार प्रकाशित है. As long as one is identifying oneself with the mind, so long he will have the activities sometimes in awakened state, sometimes in a sleeping state, dreaming state. Because the mind, kabu swarge uthaye, kabu narake dubaye. Sometimes it will bring us to good consciousness, sometimes it will bring us to bad consciousness. Sometimes it will take us to heaven, sometimes it will put us in the hell. So as long as the mind, which is so fickle, so feeble, so restless, as long as we are identifying ourselves with the mind, so long, sometimes we'll be this, sometimes we'll be that. તત્વ પદેર દ્વારા যাহা વાચ્ય সেই આત્મસુખವು મનોનિબંધને ইহা বলিতেছেন তস্মাৎ অতএব এই মনেই লিঙ্গ অর্থাৎ কারণ কাহার কারণ therefore mind is the cause. Mind is the cause of everything. What everything means? Not everything, but mind is the cause. What does it cause? তাহাতে বলিতেছেন গুণাত্ম গুণা গুণাত্যস্য গুণের বলিতে সংসারের এবং অগুণত্ব বলিতে মোক্ষেরও কারণ হয়. What is the mind causing? Mind is the cause of bondage in this material world, as mind is also the cause of liberation from this world. Sometimes, it is keeping us in an awakened state, sometimes in a sleeping state, dreaming state. Currently, we are in a dreaming state. In a dreaming state, we are thinking that. But it is the mind, when tamed properly, will become the cause of our liberation from this bondage also. The unrestricted mind is our worst enemy, and the controlled mind is our best friend. It is how we want to utilize this mind. The devotee's mind is very, very helpful. It's a friend, because the mind is always leading them. Oh, here there is association. Oh, here there is Krishna Bhakti. Oh, here I can hear about Krishna Katha. Mahaprabhu, when he met Rai Ramananda, he says, my mind is greatly pleased by seeing you. What is the difference between Mahaprabhu's mind and our mind? Because that mind, of course, Mahaprabhu is Supreme Lord, but as a devotee I am telling, that devotee's mind is fully tamed and controlled, and the mind is in a favorable way to Krishna Bhakti. The mind is under the control of intelligence and Atma. But whereas our mind, when we see devotees, when we get service, we will be very unhappy. And when we see enjoyment, sense gratification, very happy. So it is the mind that is interacting, that is the interface. Something is repulsive, something is attractive because of the mind. এই সংসার ওকে তাহাতে বলিতেছেন পরাবরস্য পর বলিতে উৎকৃষ্ট এবং অপর নিকৃষ্ট জনসমূহের এখানে পাঠক্রমে বিবক্ষণ হয় না, অর্থাৎ নিকৃষ্টের সংসার এবং উৎকৃষ্টের মোক্ষ বলিয়া থাকে এই অর্থ. সো দ্য উৎকৃষ্ট নিকৃষ্ট means the highest and the least is being called as matter and spirit, means liberation and bondage. Sometimes the mind, brings us to the bondage state, sometimes to the liberated stage. अर्थात तत्वज्ञगण এই মনকেই জীবের নির্গুণত্ব ও সগুণত্ব রূপ উৎকৃষ্ট ও নিকৃষ্ট অবস্থান কারণ বলিয়া নির্ণয় করিয়া থাকেন. Therefore, the wise persons, the intelligent or the learned scholars, they always say that the mind is the cause of our state, as in bondage or in liberation. Or in other words, mind is the cause of bondage or liberation. This is how the learned scholars see. Okay, so we will stop here and we shall continue day after tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday, so tomorrow we will take a break from our daily recitations. We will Monday. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. श्री श्री गुरु गौरांग गंधर्व गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन पंचतत्वात्मक श्री गौर हरि की जय. परमाराधितम पतित पावन स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद भक्ति वल्लभ तीर्थ गोस्वामी श्री गुरु महाराज की जय. नित्य लीला प्रविष्टोम विष्णुपाद प्रणम स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद भक्ति दयित माधव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय. जगत गुरु श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय. श्री श्री रूपानुग गुरु वर्ग की जय. श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ षड गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय. श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. सपरिकर श्री राधा मदन मोहन श्री राधा गोविंद श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ जीव की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय। श्री कृष्ण द्वैपायन वेदव्यास महामुनि की जय। श्री सुखदेव गोस्वामी एवं परीक्षित महाराज की जय। श्री रघुगण राजा एवं जड़ भरत की जय। श्रीमद् भागवत श्रवणकारी भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री चातुर्मास्य व्रत पालनकारी भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। गौर